All right. Well, greetings and cheer, everyone. I'll move out of mechanical mode into meeting mode now. Thank you for being here today for our Jupe Manor Neighborhood Association meeting for March. And we're so glad to see each of you. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at some time. What time is it? 6:12. Okay. And I will also call it to order with an invocation. So if you would please bow your heads. Dear Father, we just thank you so much for this beautiful gift called life. Thank you so much for the wonderful people that we get to share this gift with. We thank you for our neighbors. We thank you, Father, for all the wonderful staff that works at the city working hard on our neighbors' behalf. Please give us insight. Please give us wisdom so that we can make our community great. We give you all the love and the glory. Have your way in this meeting. Amen. Amen. All right. And then next, we'll have Councilwoman Viagran, our councilperson for District 3, where we live.
Thank you. Okay. Sandra, sitting is okay?
Yes, sitting's okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Councilwoman Viagran, your representative for District 3 to South and the Southeast side of San Antonio. I'm so glad I get to come and visit with y'all today. I know I was all ready to come last week. I'm glad we took the day off for spring break. That was helpful. But I'm here today. I'm really here to answer any questions you might have. Kay will give you the updates. The one thing we have is we do have the budget planning session coming up next week. SAAFE hasn't done the official survey, but if you have any ideas in terms of priorities that you'd like us to discuss, you'd like me to bring forward, while we're doing the planning session, please email my office or call Kay. Y'all can also send a list with Joy, and then that way I can bring it up. Right now, a couple of the priorities that have come to mind has been small businesses, making sure that they're taken care of, because we're learning that our ARPA requirements didn't help all our small businesses here on the south and the southeast side. The other is our arts, making sure that we're equitable, because we have a lot of art here in the area. But the one thing that's different between us and the other side of town is they have foundations that do the maintenance. We don't. So I'm trying to look to see if we can get a fund for our arts and culture department to make sure that they can take care of our public art on our side of town. The other thing I know that we are discussing, and I really want to hear from y'all, we had a long meeting yesterday, was about animal care services. And so we are all upset about what happened, and a lot of questions have come out because of that. And now we're asking those questions, and I want to hear from you in terms of what the priority is. I knew this before we had the meeting because of the office and what we get our calls, but most of the calls in District 3 are about strays. So what we're trying to do, and what I'm trying to ask ACS is, what are you going to do about strays? Because we need more people picking up the dogs. As you know, our officers cannot go out to a call for a dog and pick up that dog and put it in the back of a patrol car. They're just not going to do that. So what do we do about the dog? So if you have any issues on that you want to share with Joy, with Kay, so that I can take that into the session, please do. But really, I'm right here. I'm here to answer any questions you might have before I have to head out to another meeting. But so really, this is your time to ask any questions. Yes.
We were talking about ACS, and I think the problem that we have here on this side of town is we have Brooks. If you want to have your dog spayed or neutered, forget it. It's hard to get in there. It books up really fast. They don't have any mobile units that come out into this area, and I think that would be really a plus, because people will have their animals spayed and neutered, I believe, if it was low cost, and because it costs a couple $100 to have an animal spayed and neutered, and so they have all these pets, these animals are breeding, and then that's why we have strays, because they can't take care of it.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because that was also brought up. The mobile units, making sure we reopen Brooks with a provider that's going to be consistent. The other thing we had with our last provider there is the reason it would book up so much is they weren't very consistent, they had trouble keeping staff. So I wanna make sure we have somebody that hits the marks of what we're gonna do in spay and neuter. Mobile units were brought up, and any other ideas you may have. Fencing, we talked about how we get people to keep the dogs in the inside their fence, and also making sure that they have the right harness for their dogs too, if they're gonna let them stay outside for any time, that they're secure, so they don't get out and start roaming the streets.
Well, the only question I have is, I have now at my house 2 dogs that were strays to start with. And when we picked them up, because nobody was sleeping, the one dog had been kicked out of a car and she was just crying, waiting for the car to come back. And so we took her in, we got her to come to the house to feed her and give her water, and then we started calling. And there's never anybody who can come out or take a dog, or even we would take it. But we're closed, or we're filled up, or we don't open on the weekend, or on and on it goes. So now I have to do.
Well, and thank you for sharing that story, because I know what's happening in our neighborhood in particular is a lot of people are fostering dogs, and one of, or like, we'll give them to someone who wants a more active dog or something, but there's not a network that's doing that. So hopefully the rescues that are coming out, we can get them in contact with you, or we can make sure that we start a program that if you do want to keep these dogs for the long term, that you know where the resources are.
2 years now.
Yeah, so now they're not going anywhere now. So yes, but we want to make it affordable too, and that's the one thing that we're gonna push is the
There is a
affordability.
number that will answer and will pick up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have Kay follow up with you on that in terms of where you've been calling and who hasn't been answering, because ACS, and I know they need more money, but they do have a significant budget and a significant number of staff, because I can tell you there are other departments here sitting around this table that wish they had more staff, and had the budget ACS did. So, yeah, so we'll work on that. Any other questions? Yes.
It's not about animal control, it's about the street racers. I was coming up military one evening from Los Locos, motorcycles. They blocked the street at the light when the light turns green. And then as soon as the light turns red, they take off racing. We get to the next light, they're ranging their force. So everybody took like 30 minutes just to get up the street because they kept blocking it. I mean, the police were there. I don't know if this is for you or for Mike. But the police were there, but they'd take off in different directions. They couldn't take
Yeah,
all
they
of
shoot
them.
down our street too there on Winaway. We can even have 4-wheelers come down through there, and I don't even know where the 4-wheelers are coming from.
Yeah, so this is gonna be something that the police are gonna handle, and I'll let him handle that question. The one thing I do want, just because I'll probably have to pop up here soon, is I am going to push, in the future, that if the police catch these guys, that we take their vehicles and we impound them. We do have state legislation that they can do that. We just need to let them, we as a council and the residents of San Antonio need to let them know, hey, we want you to do this. We don't want you to sit and wait around to see if their friend can take the car. No, nobody takes the car. It goes into the impound. They have to pay to get it out because we do have a problem. And he'll talk more. The police are working hard to address these issues. They had some success this weekend. But all I have to say is, if you see anything, if they're even sitting in a parking lot revving up their cars and you think it's going to happen, please call police non-emergency. Let them know what you see. Encourage your neighbors to call, because this is the intelligence that the police need to get this done. So thank you for letting us know. And if you called and made a report and you want to pass it on to the team, go ahead. If not, Kay again or Sal will call and follow up with details to get some information. Sal Valdez is my constituent services director, and he's the one that's kind of trying to monitor all this along with Kay, because he's hearing not just from you guys, but this is going on citywide. But here in District 3, they like certain corners and streets, and that's where we need to identify. Thank you for sharing.
Before you leave, I'm new to the group, so I'm glad to be here, but you may have already addressed this before in the past meetings, but I wanted to come in and just ask, what's the city's plan to handle the homelessness around here? That's one of my main concerns. I feel like they're slowly encroaching, not just on this street here, but they're slowly encroaching into the community, into the neighborhood. So any initiatives there you can share?
Yeah, and I'll share, and then Patricia's here, and she's gonna share a little more on what
Okay.
they're doing. But right now, what we're looking at alternatives. Permanent supportive housing is one thing we're looking at, something with wraparound services. We're also looking at making sure that we kind of get the county involved too, in terms of what programs, if they are getting into the system, if they do happen to get arrested or get into the system, how are we keeping track of them and where they're going? The other thing is, again, about accountability. We know homelessness is not a crime, but if they are a danger to themselves or they're causing a danger to someone, you do need to call and report that, or a danger to others or themselves. So that's the one thing. So we have a team that's going out and trying to do that initial kind of, hey, can we get you some help? Then we have kind of the officers coming out if there is criminal activity. And then once they're in the system, we're trying to address it with getting them housing. So that's where we're at right now. The other thing is, when you report it, let us know, because depending on where they are, that kind of motivates how we're gonna approach it. If they're on state highways or underneath a state bridge, that's one aspect that we have to handle. If they're on railroad property, that's another. So just keep on making reports so that we can address it and understand that we're trying to put everything in the toolbox to kind of address this issue, but it's just getting more difficult because it just seems like we move them from one part of the district and they move into another part of a district. And so that's where we're at right now. And if you're seeing an increase right now, and maybe because there was an abatement at another part of the town, and then they moved over here. So that's where we're at right now.
Of course, the weather's getting better.
The weather is getting better, yes, yeah. So, but that's what we're doing to address it. But if you have any other ideas or you want to see something, or if there's something in particular that's bothering you, I know some people it's maybe they're not wearing their clothes properly, or they're walking into the street when people are trying to drive, or they're panhandling. Please let us know what that is specifically.
I'm just seeing them camped out. I mean, I know it was last year I saw them camped out right here next to the Circle K and the Generations Bank, and I don't know, we have a lot of conversations about it. I'm like, I don't understand how they just get to camp out on a sidewalk and live there for, I mean, I used to drive and take my son to school over there at YMLA, so we'd pass by, what's that main street, East Houston, and I would see this, it's probably Walters, I saw this one lady, and she lived there for like 2 years on the sidewalk. How is that, like, and I've reported it, I just don't understand how that can continue. I mean, can I go do that? Can I just go and camp out on the sidewalk? I mean, why would, that's my frustration is, I don't think it's fair, I don't think it's right, I think something more has to be done. I know y'all don't have all the answers, I don't have all the answers either, but I just think that it shouldn't be allowed.
And that's, with the sidewalk living and the public spaces, that's where ordinances and design come in to what we do to kind of say, this isn't welcome here, and that's a larger conversation. But what I'll do is I'll make sure, because a lot of these conversations happen in committee with the city council members, and I'll kind of get you the committee meetings and the committee members that are addressing this issue. I walk into my committees and I always tell them, the District 3 residents want accountability. They want people held accountable for their bad actions. They want to feel safe where they live, and this is not helping them feel safe. So what can we do to help? So we're trying to address that, remembering that whatever led them there needs to be addressed, but making sure we have the resources for them when they do say, yes, I want help. And we've had some success, we have, and it's just a long process. But yeah, if the living on the sidewalks and living on the streets and it is something that we may need to look at with ordinances, and we would need the resident support for that.
And then back to animal control services, how many dogs are you permitted to have as a resident? 5? Okay.
Is it 5, right?
I don't-
It's 5.
I don't really understand. I mean, I love dogs, believe me, I love animals. But why do you need 5 dogs? I mean,
I don't know, I had 4
And-
I love 4.
I know, but at the same time too, I just feel like that's 5's too many. That's my opinion. I feel like that's way too many, and then I don't think that the people understand like the fact about putting them in a gate. Because I was attacked by a dog, 2 dogs, myself and my kids in another neighborhood, and it wasn't until animal control came to take down the report that I got, some information about really they should be kept within like a gate within their property, because wood fences can have holes, right? And they can chew through them and they can get out, and that's what happened with this incident. And so I just feel like maybe more education to the residents to let them know like what's the limit first off, and maybe some like thought process of, can you manage for, what if one gets out, and what are the consequences if they were to bite another person, right? And just all those things of just like good to know, maybe some kind of Q&A, something about, especially in light of what happened. But I see a lot of loose dogs, and I mean, I think to myself, like, do I need to carry something around because I could get out at the store and be attacked by a dog, that's just loose, I just think people need to be more, I don't know, aware, given some more education about that, or kind of think about, do I really need to have this many dogs? 5 dogs is a lot to feed. I don't know how they're feeding them and not.
That was one of the things, is more education, because depending on, and the severity of the bites too, because I think that's where we need to do is, if your dog just happens to get out and nips at another dog, that's one situation. If your dog gets out and bites a person, that's another situation in terms of quarantine. And people don't know that, so maybe you're right. If they did know, they would be more likely to be like, okay, this is my fenced area, and this is my run area for the dogs if I'm not watching them, because a lot of people just let them out in the backyard, and that's where, if they're not well trained, that's where they get in trouble.
Yeah, the owner of those dogs cried and begged me not to report because they knew they were going to get quarantined, and I was like, sorry, that's you want to own dogs, that's your issue, not mine. And
The whole thing of your freedom ends where mine begins. And really. And then that goes with the dogs.
yeah, but it's just my opinion.
Okay, any other questions? Because I know there's other, and that's the reason I come, but I know I can be here all day answering your questions. But I will
Thank you
join
for
those
being
committee
here.
meetings so you guys can check in on that. Remember, budget ideas, anything, and ask for them. I may not be able to ask for it, but you may be asking for streetlights, and somebody else in another neighborhood association may be saying more streetlights. If you're gonna say more officers on patrol, or more officers on bikes in my neighborhood, they don't like when I say that.
They see me, I ride my neighborhood.
You're like, let me know, because that's what budget session is for. And I love when I get to go and say, the neighborhood association of Jupe Manor would like this, and that really resonates with them.
Did they already send the survey out online? Because I usually fill it out.
Yeah, they haven't filled out. This is the pre-conversation. So
Okay.
they haven't sent
I know
the
I filled out
survey.
last
As soon as they send the survey out, we're gonna push that out to
Yeah.
everyone.
Okay.
Will that be on next door?
We can put the link on next door.
It will be on, when we get all the information, it will be on Nextdoor, Instagram, Facebook, it'll be on our e-blast, as well as, I'll be sure to send it specifically to Joy as well, send out to all of y'all. So once we get it, it will be sent out.
And if you haven't filled out the
Email
current
it to
survey,
me.
there's a current survey on the digital. So kind of like higher internet speed, affordability, accessibility, classes on how to use my devices. They're asking those questions, and if you could go online, again, it ends April 30th, go online and fill out that survey too.
And is there, the city is gonna come in?
Yeah, SA Speak Up.
They have all sorts of surveys on there. Do you ever get bored one day?
So I don't know if I have enough. Well, and I can get the
Madison.
sound later. But I know I will not see y'all until after Fiesta. So I did bring you Fiesta medals. So, and if you are a Fiesta medal collector, there's gonna be other people that have Fiesta medals. But I'm going to leave these here.
Yeah, I'll pass them out.
And then Kay will pass them out, and if you don't get one, she'll make sure that you do get one. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
You all have a great evening, and the departments are working really hard. All the departments represented here work very hard, and just let them know what you need, and if they need my help, they know to come and ask me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're blessed.
Is your card there with your email address?
I have my card, and I'll be sure to, I
Okay.
think somebody will have it, but people who don't, I'll leave you.
Okay.
Yes,
I
thank you.
have more questions.
Thank you. Okay, and so then now we'll have Ms. Cervantes, our new homeless outreach coordinator for District 3.
So my name is Patricia Cervantes, and I am the new homeless outreach coordinator for District 3. I'm also a member of this neighborhood. I was born and raised here and still live here, right back there.
Awesome.
So, you know, I have some skin in this game as well.
All right.
And so a little bit about what we do. There's a coordinator for each district in San Antonio. So I have all of District 3, which I think most of you all know is the largest district in San Antonio. And so what we do is, the outreach team is we go out and we engage. We respond to requests from the district office. We respond to sometimes requests from SAAFE, requests from 311 that come in regards to homeless individuals, encampments, and go out and try to engage with these individuals. We offer services,
Yes, please.
anything
Thank
from
you.
trying to offer to get them into shelter, to helping with ID recovery, getting them into detox if they need it, getting them set up with any kind of resources that we can get them set up with. And so that's pretty much, you know, what we do. There's a lot of usually questions about the way that things go and processes to follow in regards, and the councilwoman touched on a little bit, to, you know, if you see a person or an encampment, you know, my go-to is always call 311 because they will be able to filter it to the correct department. If it is a private property, either, you know, an individual owns it or a commercial property, we defer to code. And so we're not even allowed to go on there without SAFE or code. They are the ones that take the lead on that. If it's city property, that is us. If it is, as she said, by the railway or the highway, we defer to TxDOT for that. So we work with all of those agencies as well as ACS. I was actually out, we had the other part of District 3. We were out there, we got a call about some abandoned properties and some people that were squatting there with some animals. So we were able to coordinate with them and with South Safe and go out there and check that out. You know, big part of what we do is building this rapport and engaging with these people. It takes, on average, 5 years to get one person off the street. And so there are people that I have worked with, you know, for months, and do you want services? Do you want services? Do you want services? And it's no. You know, we can't make them engage. We can't make them accept services. I've had, you know, in the space that we have shelter-wise is very limited in San Antonio. A lot of the beds are full. And so when something does come up, you know, I've had people say, okay, I'm gonna take it, and then that last minute, they're like, no, I'm not ready to go. So, you know, if you see me out there in the white van or an outreach team member engaging with people, handing out food, handing out clothes, handing out blankets, you know, I know I've gotten some feedback from the community that we're enabling them, but it really is an integral part of building that rapport and establishing that relationship so that eventually they get comfortable enough to where they do decide to take those next steps and you know, go to shelter, go to detox, or whatever, you know, we can offer them. So I don't know if anybody has any questions regarding.
Any questions? Okay, well, we appreciate the services that you all provide. I know it's sensitive, and life is not easy, period, in any, for anybody, but especially when you don't have a shelter and all the other challenges that they're probably facing. So thank you so much. We appreciate you coming, and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, and hello, neighbor.
And to add to that, if y'all see anyone, anyone that's homeless, the other thing too is call 311 if you want to report it, but if they're engaging in anything illegal, as she said, call the police. Whether they, they think that you think they might be a danger to themselves or to someone else, and then they will, follow up with that.
Okay, all right, great. All right, and then next we have Danny Vincel.
It's actually me.
Oh, hello. Okay, what's your name?
Renee Aguirre.
Okay, thank you so much for being here.
Having me. So I'm Lieutenant Renee Aguirre, Fire Department's Office of Public Education. So we're tasked with getting out into the public and promoting safety education and letting the public know about our resources that we provide. So we go to different HOAs, NOAs, school events, church events, you name it, private businesses, and just to try to speak on education. And more than anything, to be present and if you have any questions regarding anything fire department related, safety related, we do my best to answer them. So one of our big pushes is about smoke alarms. So smoke alarms are a tremendous deal to us. So I mean, they, to be cliche, are literal lifesavers of not only yourselves, but for us as well. So we just had, on Tuesday, another fire death here over off of West Summit. And that one was actually caused by a space heater. So with Texas San Antonio weather, but it's gonna be 80s this weekend, it was cold beginning of this week, it was raining yesterday. So individuals are gonna, use air conditioner one day, space heater the next. My mother uses a space heater all year round, because she's always cold. Right, so these space heaters are a humongous cause of these fires, case in point this past Tuesday. So if we are gonna use them, just we ask that we be sure they're properly maintained, the cord's not chewed up on, make sure it's compliant with current safety standards. So the new ones that you buy today should have a safety mechanism where if they're not balanced, or they fall over, they tip over, they make this god-awful noise, to let you know that something's not right. So, we ask that you use those. We ask that you keep a 3-foot area around the space heater clear, whether it's against curtains or your bedding or drapes or whatnot. So they're big cause of fires. And again, that was the cause of this past Tuesday's fire death. So this year alone, we're on a horrible pace for the most amount of fire deaths in a very long time. Beginning of the year, it was pretty bad. So our other biggie is, the smoke alarm. So we have a program, and a lot of people, some of you might have taken advantage of it or know about it. It's a free smoke alarm program. So you can call 211 and request a smoke alarm, or you can go to our website, which is firesafesa.com, and request one through there. So 211 will take about a week before it gets to us. The FireSafe SA website will get it, instantaneously, if you will.
You said fire,
Safe.
SA,
FireSafe.
safe?
Yes, FireSafe SA. So these door hangers, kind of what we pass out in the neighborhood. It's got directions on the bottom, general fire safety information. I'll leave them here with everybody. It's got the 211 down there. It's got our website at the bottom. So you give us a call through 211 or FireSafe SA. We'll make contact with you or your nearest fire station. We'll set up a time for you, good time for you. We'll go out there and we'll install them. So free
Thank
smoke
you so
alarms.
much.
They're 10-year batteries. So you put them up on the ceiling, the wall. Correct. Yeah. So they have lithium-ion batteries now. So no more, changing the 9-volt square batteries, every 6 months or whatnot. These are 10 years. Slap them on the ceiling. They should be good, easily between 8 to 10 years, depending on making renovations to the house.
What if somebody has done the program like 5 years ago and they have the 9-volt batteries, can they go ahead and retrofit them?
100% sure.
Okay, so that they can call and have it.
Sure, definitely.
Well, I just really appreciate y'all doing that because I don't know about anybody else, but I have no idea where I'm supposed to put them. Even
Sure,
though they
sure.
have instructions, I feel
Right.
a lot safer than somebody like yourself.
It's our pleasure to do them, and case in point, we
Yeah.
don't want anyone up on ladders and falling
Yes,
and
yes.
getting hurt. So And again, to be there to, again, talk about
And
safety
I still
information.
don't know what I did. I must have done something as I was starting to fall.
Right.
But, I don't know if those things are wired in the house or on batteries.
Well, I mean, we can, I mean, if you go through 21, in fact, we'll go out there and we'll take a peek at them.
If I can have somebody who knows what they're looking at.
Sure. So more than likely, they're hardwired into your electricity. So the only caveat with those is since we're not licensed electricians, we can't really fiddle with anything electric. So, but we can tell you that they're, in fact, they are hardwired to your
I
electricity.
need something. Recently, I'm 80 years old now, so I forgot I had a stove on about 2 weeks ago. And it's a gas stove, so it was going up. And I thought then, and I happened to see it as I came by and I smelled it, and so I turned everything off. But it made me wonder if I could have very well have gone to the store or done something like that.
And that's exactly how it happens. We forget
Yeah.
that it's on, we leave the home, we go to work,
Yeah.
we leave to go to the store, we
So
fall
I
fall
began
asleep.
to wonder about that. Should I do something to find out what
Definitely.
those
Yep, I mean,
smoke detectors are?
yeah, you can, the email's on there, I mean, you can give us shoot us an
Okay.
email, it's probably the quickest way.
Yeah, okay.
And does it connect to your alarm system? How does
Then you
it?
need a gas one too, cause if you're leaving that gas one,
So it just depends, so if you have a monitoring system, that, you know, paid for monitoring system, then it will, you know, go to their dispatch, then goes to our dispatch. But generally, they're connected to your electricity. They will have a 9-volt battery backup in case you lose electricity, then it's still gonna function. And some of them are interconnected, so if your bedroom hardwired one goes off, all the rest go off as well.
This is what was happening with my husband. Everything was going off and he
So
was just
more than
going
likely, they're all connected
could have thrown the
to
breaker.
electricity.
Is your breaker on?
Well, finally, I took off the breakers when I hobbled over there. I took off all the breakers. But,
We can go out there and we'll take a peek, and if nothing else, you know, we can put up some of ours with a 10-year battery next to them, that, just so we know that you do have that protection.
one more question I have, I don't know what they're called in English. In Thailand, we used to call them kamoi bars. Bars on
Oh, it's the bars on the outside of the window.
Oh, the burglar bars.
The burglar bars.
Burglar bars. Okay, I have that on both houses, okay? And when we lived in Sierra Vista, Arizona, I had the same thing done. I had someone come and install windows, whatever those things are called. And at the time, I was told that because of fire regulations and all this, if you don't have a direct access out, you have to have a special thing on the window, and it locks. Now, this I noticed in this house when I had them put it on. It's something that does not require a key inside. But outside, how is the fireman going to get in?
We'll get in. You don't worry about that.
I was gonna say, they have
You
better,
won't-
they have better bars, they
You'll
have.
no longer have that burglar bar. We'll get in. It's gonna take us a bit longer. So, you know, it's your home, we can't tell you how to protect it, correct? So that's the downside to burglar bars. So you,
But you don't have a dictum that says if you have a burglar bar on this window, there must be a key that is turned into the fire
no,
station.
that's that, no.
Because we had to in Arizona.
Okay. No, so by code, if it's a sleeping area, sleeping quarters, a bedroom, there has to be a window. Now, with at least a window, you know, to get out of that room. But as far as the burglar bars, again, I mean, tons of houses have them. Some are keyed, some are not. You know, it's gonna keep us out for a bit. I mean, again, we will, and it will keep you from getting out the window a little bit quicker too. So most fires are gonna happen in the middle of the night. So if you're trying to operate that key at 3 in the morning and it's smoky,
Now, this
it's
is what I
gonna be
like
difficult.
about this one, is that I can operate it from inside, but outside you
Sure.
still have the problem of getting in.
Right, yeah, I mean, it's kind of intended to allow the occupant to go that direction as opposed to giving somebody accessibility the other way. But as far as us, I mean, it will add some time to us getting in. We will get in. I mean, generally, we go for your front door or your back door first, and then the windows. But we will get in and make a mess and do all that business. Do our best. So you brought up your stove, so generally some of the older homes have gas, so then that uses the carbon monoxide. So that is another issue. Carbon monoxide alarms we do not have, unfortunately. But again, if you do have gas appliances in your home, gas boiler, gas stove, we recommend carbon monoxide alarm, obviously. Somewhere between the gas producing appliances and your sleeping areas.
I also have a dryer that
Sure.
I specifically requested it when they built the
Yes, ma'am,
house.
yes. So that's super important as well to have that carbon monoxide alarm. You know, some of those symptoms, if you're in the home, you start getting a headache, you start, feeling nauseous, you go outside, you feel better, then you go back in the house, start feeling sick again, or there's multiple people in the home feeling the same way, feeling sick, you get some fresh air, you feel better, come back, it happens again, then you might have a gas leak. So with that as well, it's an emergency, you can call 911, firefighters will show up, and we do have monitors that it'll tell us that you do have a gas leak. Again, because we're not licensed plumbers or whatnot, we can't necessarily fix, but then that's when CPS gets involved. So CPS will come in and actually pinpoint where the leak is. So that's our big one is, like I said, that smoke alarm program. So if you, your neighbors, other HOAs you're in contact with, let them know about the program. Again, they're installed by us, they're completely free, and they got 10-year batteries. So, and outside of that, another big initiative we have here over the last couple of months is trying to get more embedded with the individuals, community with special needs and disabilities. So a lot of times, they aren't aware of the resources that we provide. So we're trying to get that out there a bit more to them. So something else we're doing is, if y'all are familiar with Morgan's Wonderland and Lighthouse for the Blind, we partner with them to kind of make contact with their clients. We do the same concept. We go to their homes, install smoke alarms. We talk about exit drills in your home. So everybody, your place of work, at school, you have fire drills, right? But nobody practices fire drills at home for some reason. So we talk to them about that. Having a meeting place outside. We talk about clutter in your home, having an access pass for you to get out, for us to get in. With special needs, population, disabilities, physical disabilities. We basically give them the question, if we were to show up tonight at midnight, what would you want us to know before we get here? We have a individual who's in a wheelchair that sleeps in this particular bedroom. Right? So we can annotate that with our dispatch system. That there's an individual in the home confined to a wheelchair, and they sleep in, we have different firefighter lingo for sides of the house. We can annotate it, so if I make a run to that home, it's gonna pop up on my notes, so that me as an officer, it's gonna dictate my priorities a little different. So I know there is someone that's confined to a wheelchair, bedroom upstairs on the right side or whatnot. So that's something that's kind of been kicked off over the last couple of months. So we can input any of these notes that you offer to us. Any other questions about anything fire related, safety related?
No, I appreciate
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
So I'll leave these here with anyone who wants to take them. And actually, sorry, I'm reaching behind you here. In talking about special needs population and disabilities, so state of Texas has this program, it's called STEER. The acronym STEER stands for State of Texas Emergency Assistance Registry. That's run through the state of Texas in conjunction with our Emergency Operations Center. If you know anyone that has accessibility issues, mobility issues, in case of an emergency, the ice storm, flooding, that needs extra help to get out of their home, they can register for this registry. Emergency Operations Center will contact them, see how they're doing, see if they do need to evacuate from the house. If they do, then the Operations Center will make plans to get to the homes to make contact with them. Yeah, so it's kind of a lengthy registration process, I will say that, but once you're in, unless you update it. So it's something that I think it's a great program. Not too many people signed up right now, honestly, but it is available if you text us in our Mercy Operations Center.
Okay, thank you so much. So then,
Thank you very much.
We had this up east, and it was nice to have a daughter that was a diabetic, insulin dependent.
Oh, okay.
And they had a program where we can let them know where she's at, what what she's gonna need, so they knew when they come in their emergency, they know, so it's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, 100%. And we recommend any of that information, you can write it on a piece of paper, you can slap it on your refrigerator. So they have things called follow-up life, where you list your medications, your medical history, diabetic, history of stroke, whatnot, emergency contact information, and a lot of times that's kind of we'll look at the refrigerator to see if anyone has any information there that's pertinent to the incident.
That's a good idea. I just never thought of it.
all right, thank you very much. Next, we'll have our SAAFE Officer Mike Cassiano, and then we'll go to code compliance. I'll be right back at that diaper changing. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to see everybody again. Still your SAAFE officer, going on what, 7 years now? So a lot of topics got brought up. So someone brought up about the street racing, right?
Yes, this
So you brought up about the street racing. We are starting to have these initiatives, these crackdowns on this stuff because it's happening a lot. It's happening all over parts of town. Not just in San Antonio, you also happen in Austin. I mean, it's everywhere. There's a lack of respect in this world that's just getting worse and worse. These people don't understand the jeopardy. They're putting everybody's lives in danger when they're doing that stuff.
I keep praying every time I hear them. I keep thinking, WW get them.
Well, on WWY, you'll have a couple of street races here and there. We're talking about the ones that have 50, 100 cars stopped on the highways, doing donuts on the highways. I mean, it's ridiculous. So last week we did have a good crackdown, a good operation that we had, and we got a couple of arrests. The councilwoman was talking about trying to take the vehicles, and there is state legislative that's saying that if they've already had one prior conviction of it, the second one we could take their car and that's it. I would like to have it on the very first offense. I mean, it should be the very first. I mean, I wish it could. So hopefully there could be some kind of changes. But we are addressing that, and it got brought up how you saw officers and they just let them go. If it's just patrol officers, if we're just in the street, we get the call, we see it going on. If it's 25, 50 cars and they all start, we can't chase them all. We can't chase them all. And then even at that, I mean, especially with those motorcycles, I mean, those guys get up to 150 miles an hour within seconds. I mean, it's ridiculous. We're not authorized to chase. I mean, the days of us getting into high-speed car chases is long gone. I've been on 20 years. The first couple of years I was on, it was a regular occurrence. We'll chase them. We're gonna get those bad guys. We're gonna get them. Nowadays, it's not worth the lives. I mean, we've been in car chases and they've wrecked out, they've died, or they've killed innocent people. So Chief has implemented a lot of policies for us on chasing. So if they're just racing or speeding, anything, and they take off, well, we're not allowed to pursue. We gotta cancel that chase.
I mean, they were blocking traffic. Like I said, with the light turning green, they just stood there and just blocked everyone. And then as soon as the light turned red, then they'd take off and race. And then they'd wait for us to catch up with them again and block traffic. It was ridiculous. It was.
Lack of respect in this world. It really is.
Like I say, you hear it every night.
Yeah. In
Indians
all my
racing.
meetings that I go to, with SAFE, we do all the community meetings. Speeding is the #1 complaint in all neighborhoods. It's getting bad everywhere. Every time we post up and we hit radar, I mean, we're constantly getting tickets out. So that is citywide. Don't think it's just in y'all's neighborhood. It's everywhere.
Oh, in the school districts too. I've been seeing people speeding through these school districts. A couple of times I'll see like the motorcycle policemen down there closer to Pecan Valley, but I haven't seen them lately.
They're running red lights.
Red lights.
I've never in my life seen an area where people are running red lights like they do here in San Antonio.
It's crazy.
It's like back home, no, they're not gonna run that red light, but here,
The
This is
other
a
issue
suggestion.
got up about ECS, about the loose dogs. I mean, even in my neighborhood, I'm seeing an increase. When I go walking or jogging around my neighborhood, I'm actually seeing packs of dogs now. I'm worried. Someone brought up about that you should be carrying something around. I highly suggest it. I mean, if you're walking around the neighborhood, I would carry a walking stick, something. just to keep them away. I mean,
Wasp spray
Mace,
isn't
pepper spray.
humane, but pepper spray humane, but they do have pepper spray for dogs.
yes.
Because I have gotten it before, where in Maryland where I live, they had dogs, pit bulls, a lot of pit bulls running loose, and it was attacking people, and they attacked the mailman, and they would not do nothing about these dogs. So I got it, and they ended up giving it to my niece, because she would walk her dog and get attacked.
Yeah.
Or
It-
another
it's-
dog
it's-
attack her dog.
I've seen
But you
the
can't buy it.
damage and the destruction of these dogs, and I hate to say it, but they're primarily pit bulls.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen what they've done to people. I've seen what they're capable of doing. I mean, physically taking chunks of meat out of.
Oh, yeah.
A woman your age. She was gardening. She had a towel. I showed up. She showed it. I mean, to the bone was going. It was puncture wounds to the scalp. It was trying to eat her head.
I was a foreign service officer, and I used to go overseas all the time. And I lived in a place called Guinea Conakry. It's on the west side of Africa. I was stationed there for 2 years. And they had loose dogs everywhere, and everybody was vaccinated against rabies, me included, okay? We had to get vaccinated. And you would have loose dogs all over the place, and then you'd wake up one day, they'd be gone. Somebody had complained to the government, they poisoned them. And got rid of all the dogs, and I thought that was a
I don't
great
see that
system.
happening.
I thought, wow, do it over here.
Yeah.
Get rid of those dogs. If they're loose, they don't belong to anybody.
I can't say my
Nobody-
personal opinion, but the U.S. can.
I mean, I grew up in North Africa.
I don't trust dogs. I don't. I've been bitten myself on duty. I mean, it's
I have a
horrible.
scar on my leg.
I have no remorse. If a dog's gonna attack me or somebody else, I've shot and killed plenty of dogs in my career.
Yeah.
That's the way it's made.
I don't.
I don't know what the laws is of shooting a dog ourselves,
If it's
but if one of
coming
mine
up to you
attacks
and you
somebody,
feel
I would
threatened-
shoot my own dog. I love my dogs to death, but if it attacked a person, that dog's, I'm not waiting for somebody else to come after, I'm gonna take it myself. I'll probably go to jail for it, but I'm gonna do it myself.
and if it is an aggressive dog, I mean, call us so we could go out there. Because if you call 311, I mean, I've talked to plenty of people. They'll call 311 and they're literally tell them, okay, we'll get to it in about 7 to 10 days. They'll come out there. It's mind blowing. If you call us and we get there and we do see it's an aggressive dog and we can kind of contain it, they'll come out right away. So if it is an aggressive dog, call police. Because you don't want that dog.
No, I'm
to
talking
get
about my own, I'm gonna shoot somebody else.
But I'm just saying in general, if it's an aggressive dog, call us. Don't just call the dog catcher, because it's gonna be a long time before they get out there.
If they come out.
If they come out. The other was the homelessness. I mean, it's understandable, and Patricia is right. I mean, we work hand in hand a lot, with us, and I mean, we have to have a partnership, because it's not going anywhere. The homeless population is not going anywhere. It's only gonna be increasing. The gentleman that you kept saying right here on WW, I know exactly who he is. I mean, I've talked to him plenty of times, and all it is a shuffling game. He's not a danger to himself. He's surviving out here. He's fed. He actually has grandparents that live in Belcrest right here. So he is healthy. He is okay. Living on the streets, being homeless is not a crime. We cannot just arrest them for that. Even if they're having their stuff on the sidewalk, I mean, it's not going to be any kind of violation. We're not going to take them to jail. There's no way they're going to hold them in jail for something like that. So what I'll do is I'll come up and I'll talk to him. And the majority of the time when I see him setting up camp, I go right away, and they listen. They'll listen to us. If I tell them, hey, I need you to pack up all your stuff, I need you to go around this area, for the most part, they'll be very respectful and they'll do that. The ones that don't, that's what we get. If it's city property, we could have it abated right away. We'll call Trish out here first to offer services, just to make sure, like, hey, we're at least trying to get you help. And then after that, we'll actually come out with city crews and they'll clean up trash. I mean, we've had huge abatements before. Rigsby at 410, we've hit that several times. I mean, they'll start going up again underneath the highway, in the drainage. Luckily, it's not as bad as, say, Military at 37, Goliath, all that. Austin Highway, Perrin Vital. Those are some of our big hotspots underneath the 281, 9th Street, all right here, Austin Street. I mean,
So
those
it's
are
not a
talking.
crime. Yeah, it's not a crime, but what is it then? If you're saying it's not a crime, what is it? Is it trespassing? Is it, I mean, they're on
It
property.
depends on the property. So for example.
So they can
no,
be on the highways then? And
Well,
they can be underneath the bridges?
No, so TxDOT, we report it and they will come clean it. The problem that we run into is that they continue to come. And so there are certain places where it is an ongoing abatement. Now, private properties, for example, the Home Depot on Fair, there's a couple that is staying in their truck and one of the neighbors has been very vocal about it. Home Depot chooses not to do anything. That's their property, they're not being bothered by it, they don't wanna get involved with it. They don't wanna, and so if it's a private property, whether it's commercial or individual, at that point, they would have to obtain a criminal trespass warrant. And then when they show up, at that point, if there's a CTW on it, correct, you can detain them or ticket them or whatever the case may be. But as far as, I know, like I said, I live right here, this Exxon now, there was a gentleman that was living there for a long time. It's city property, we go, we offer services, he declines. At that point, they come, they clear everything out, and they tell them we have to, by law, have to give them 48 to 72 hours notice that we're gonna come abate them. And the area also has to meet criteria for abatement, which is there has to be signs of drug use, drug paraphernalia, and or trafficking, or there has to be some kind of danger present, usually fires. At that point, and there's only 2 people for the whole city that are on the abatement team. So they'll come out, they'll assess the property, and if it meets the requirement, they'll schedule an abatement. But, like I said, we've had abatements where they are back within the hour. So, it's an ongoing issue. And you're dealing with people, the majority of the time, that are having, untreated mental health and, or, drugs, which we're seeing the majority of mental health concerns going on. And so, like I said, 5 years to get one person off the street. We have a lack of resources in the city, when it comes to that. So, you may see them there and they move them, and then they're gonna move, and then they're gonna be right back. So,
It
and
becomes somebody else's problem.
well, and and to be honest with you guys, over there on Goliad and Southeast Military, that pawn shop burned down. So we're seeing them start to migrate this way because they're really clearing them out of there. So,
I heard they cleared them out from downtown because we're supposed to be having some kind of big convention coming up in a month or 2, and so now they're going everywhere.
The corridor that borders Central and East, the one that we deal with, the one corridor right by downtown. I mean, pretty much, we're going out there once a month, and we're talking about 100 tents with people in it, on there, and downtown the homeless population for downtown is very heavy.
Yeah, but I've seen Austin, I've traveled to Austin the past couple of years, and so I just worry, like, if I feel like we've stopped doing anything and we're like hitting a wall, but, and I understand it's 100, but I think in a couple of years it's gonna be more than that. And so where do we draw the line, or where do we say, okay, we need to do something different than we're doing, or do we put more resources? I'm still not hearing, like, if it's not a crime, then what is it? Are they trespassing on city property
So if
or
they
county
say,
road,
okay, the
or
woman
whatever it is,
on Walters, we've been dealing with her
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah, and
For
she's
years.
started fires there,
She
and
started
she's
fires.
done drugs there, because I've reported it, and I've
She'll
seen
go to the
her,
bathroom in front of everybody right
Yeah.
on the sidewalk.
and it just continues.
We'll
We're
take her to
like,
jail, we'll give her a citation for blocking a sidewalk.
But she does, okay, so she goes to jail? She's
We
been
take her
to
to
jail?
jail, every time she gets in a police car, and gets down there, she tells them the officer raped her, so then we gotta take her to the hospital. We gotta go through the whole sending exam, officer gets off the street for a little bit, because he's being accused of rape, even though we got cameras everywhere. It's crazy, but for a ticket, because that's all it's gonna be is a ticket. Literally, we take her down there, the judge sees them, okay, here's your court date for your ticket. And let go. They're back out the same day within an hour. It's a slap on the wrist, and it doesn't go anywhere. They're homeless, they're not gonna pay these fines. They're not.
So we're just going in
So
circles.
yes, I know, I totally understand it, it's frustrating. But definitely if it's kind of drug use, if the homeless is out there swinging a machete, swords, on the northeast side, we see a lot of that. We'll take them to the hospital, and they can't be out there. But if they're camping, I mean, it's hard for us. We have a gentleman right here, like you all know, on Tucker, on the corner of Tucker, 2739 Tucker?
Tucker went away.
Went away. I mean, that's the house he grew up in for years. He burned down, and he's camping on that place. He set up. Dan helped me out. Dan was, before Trish, it was Dan. Dan was there all the time. He just doesn't want any help. And our hands are tied because he's pretty much on his own property.
And you can have a burned house on your property, you can just leave it there.
No, the house is gone.
Well,
The
that's
house is
our
gone.
code, there's no house.
Yeah.
Eagles, baggies, nothing.
There's a house across from where you
I
are.
appreciate you speaking on
I mean,
it.
we're trying everything. I mean, I wish there could be more done. We really wish.
with all the stuff in New York, what's that?
Any other issues for me while I'm here? Has y'all been seeing anything else?
Just my issue, no.
Just your issue? Just one issue.
As a constituent, not as an outreach worker, and we talked about it earlier, on Tilly,
Okay.
they are flying through that street. There's a stop sign on the section left. There's no, and it's a bus route, there's no
You know,
speed hump. Can we get somebody out there, and I talked to her, can we get somebody out there to maybe just kind of patrol and see how that's going? Because I mean, it's, they killed like 3 kids, they ran over 3 cats like
What-
in the past 2 weeks.
what's the block number, Tim? Which one you talking about?
Well, so off
So
Rigsby.
from Rigsby?
From Rigsby to, I think it's Winnyway.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
on two.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard in the past, that even the bus drivers
The bus drivers will get pretty fast sometimes, but it's,
And-
I mean, they are
And I'll let y'all know
flying
too,
now.
I mean, I run radar constantly, and even me, I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm like, oh man, that car's speeding, oh, 3 miles over the speed limit. I'm not gonna stop them for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of times, especially residential, they look a lot faster than what they are.
Yeah, or they steal. When I'm driving in my son's car, I'm like, slow down. He's like, I'm not going.
But to be honest, when I run radar, 85–90% of my speeders and stops are women, and actually older women. You would always think it's young guys, teenage guys.
No, it's still the males.
It's older females. That's what I know.
Now, the Winnoway stretch that we have, I don't know why people
It's a
speed.
straight
There's a
shot.
stop sign there. I didn't see it.
They'll run them. It's a straight shot to the access road.
Yeah.
Because they know that once they get to the access, they jump on the highway, they're gone.
I just don't
Speeding
understand.
all over, yeah, it's
And
bad.
our son, or I can still say my son, is now living next door because I think it's better than an under bridge. But it works, give the guy credit. Oh, he's a nice guy, I enjoy having him next to me. But the other day, somebody sped down the road, and so he went after the guy.
Oh,
And there
no.
was somebody in Jupe, and he pulled up behind the guy and he said, "Look, man, you've got a stop sign at each end of the road. Why are you speeding?" And the guy he said he didn't realize he was speeding. He was. But since then, Matthew told him, said, let's tone it down. Okay, you've got to stop sign.
I wonder
And
if we have a speed limit sign here. What is it? Is it 30 miles?
30 miles.
It's
Anywhere residential to 30.
Yeah. We, commercial halfway, and then our house starts residential.
Yeah. Pretty much your whole subdivision, neighborhood is gonna be 30. So before I forget, Officer Ovalle, he's our citizens on patrol. He's our crime prevention officer. He's gonna have a COP class April 6th. It's Thursday, April 6th.
What does COP?
It's Citizens on Patrol. So it's a class. It's gonna be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. He's gonna go over a lot of safety tips. And what to do if you do see a crime, you wanna report it. We're gonna give you a lot of tips on what to do. and what to
One
look
of
for.
them is don't engage,
Yes.
like Matthew did.
We go over that
Right.
we go over that 25 times in that class. But the COP class, April 6th, it's a Thursday, it's gonna be at the East Side Substation, 3635 East Houston. And then, we're gonna be having another captain's meeting on April 12th.
April 12th?
April 12th, Wednesday, April 12th at the substation at
Wednesday,
6
April
o'clock.
12th, 6 o'clock, okay.
Okay. Everybody's invited. Our Captain Mike Brown for East, he's in charge of East. He'll go over all the stats citywide and then break it down for the East side. He'll hit on all the hot spots on the East side and what's been going on. Okay. Any other concerns or issues?
Where are you with that radar? No, I'm just kidding. I know where to slow down.
Thank y'all guys for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What is the address on these two?
3635 East Houston, 3635.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, and now for code compliance.
Alright, so I'm Officer Rodriguez, I'm the code enforcement officer for, well, not this area, but I'm in this area helping out. Any concerns y'all might have for me?
Yes.
Come down Jupe.
Yes.
Take a drive down Jupe. You can see it.
Cars in the front of the lawn, furniture.
There's 3 houses on our street. The beginning of Jupe right here is starting at the feed mill. You got one of the comments in the front yard. You can have comments in the front yard.
He has a permit, he can have
You have a permit, you can have it in your front yard. It looks like hell for this neighborhood. And then 2503. All the trash, people got evicted out of there, it's a dump. It's on their house now, yes.
Okay.
And then by y'all, by you and Donna.
Next, yeah, across from her.
I don't know.
I think they've already been fined and they have a court date. The one
Okay, so
across the street.
there's a court on it, we have to wait for the court date to see what happens, and then we have to wait 10 days to take the next action, give them a ticket or whatever it is.
They have a court date.
Okay, so
It's
we'll have to wait.
2605.
2605?
Mhm.
Jupe as well?
Correct.
Okay.
And then next door to me is the vacant lot that's been room. And he has the place next door that has abandoned plumbing trucks, boats, just junk there. And snakes, cats, possums, everything's in there. I'm 2616, so there's probably
Right next door.
2618.
18 and.
Oh, you're in our neighborhood.
You're
Oh, yeah.
2616 and
I mean, literally.
We've had the city go out and cut it before.
It's
A
terrible.
couple times, yeah.
It's terrible. But the cats go in there and they have babies and they're.
Yeah, the cats are bad, especially in the, somebody goes in that field next to us and feeds them.
Unless it poisoned the damn thing.
Oh my God.
You're mean.
You can do whatever you want, just don't tell me.
It's a pile of junk down there.
Well, some of them are pretty, they're Portsawnese, they're real pretty cats, but you can't get near them.
Slow
They're
down
not
for
gonna near you at all.
And
And one got in the yard and our dog about got a hold of it.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't see that.
So I know bulky pickup's coming pretty soon. A lot of people like to jump the gun and start throwing stuff out. You have to wait for that flyer.
Goats and people's property that is in the street and it's terrible. No, that's your food.
Yeah.
I gave up.
That's the
on
one that has a little
neighbor.
structure in there, right? Like a little.
Yeah.
Margaret's had it cut
Remember the
before.
goats, we all wrangled the
And the
goats?
goats were doing a good job of keeping the grass down.
And I gave up on the one across the street from my house. I gave up on that because the city's not.
They need to put some
Can't be
cute little
left in
mini
the
cows in there,
Because
too.
they're running
That'd
a
be cute to
business out
look
of their
at.
home.
Mini cows.
The thing with running a business at home is we have to see that
You need to come at night, you know, I don't. And I respect, this is what gets me, and I wanted to say it, but I didn't say it, but you're here, you can talk to the council lady. The city had all this excess money, why aren't they giving it to you guys, putting it elsewhere into the city to give you all authorization for overtime to induce some more investigation? There's a lot of money out there, I keep hearing there's money there, and it's not being spent wisely. you know.
That, I can't speak for that, I mean,
Because-
we're on a schedule, so most of us get off by 4:30. And people know that. That's when they come home from work, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they'll park the cars in their yards.
And my bedroom lights up at 11, 12 o'clock at night, it's lighting up because they're backing in, bringing in load.
And then
They buy storage
management doesn't
units.
want us working at night because it's more of a risk. It's more risky. There's more stuff that can happen to us, and we don't carry weapons at all or anything,
No,
you
I
know.
understand.
So it's more of a risk for code officers to be out there at night. So they don't really want us working at night. And that's why most of us leave by
And
5 o'clock.
they know when y'all are off and everything.
Yeah, they know. They know we're off.
And that's why they're doing it.
But I'll be here this Saturday. So what I'll do, I come in at 7 in the morning Saturday. So I'll make a run down Jupe, see like catch some front yard parking, see some activity.
It's 25-10.
I'll go down. I come in at 7 and I'll be working this Saturday. And I'll go down. I was down Jupe early this morning.
What are they doing?
They buy storage, you ever watch Storage Wars on TV? Okay, that's what they do, they buy storage units and bring it to their place and they store it on their property and then they go on the internet and they sell it on the internet. So you got every day who comes down our road going there and picking up their stuff because they're buying it online.
So that means that's technically not a yard sale, so that's not illegal.
But they have had yard sales, whenever the stuff's not going, then all of a sudden they put up a great big yard sale, and they got a yard sale. They might have their permit to make them legal, but they're not really doing what they're doing right now.
I'll go down there. Like I said, I'll be here this Saturday early in the morning. I'm at 7, so I'll go down and see what I can.
I had a question about RVs
But the
on the
storage
property.
on the storage
Is that allowed? Like I've seen areas where like, you know, there's a house, but then they have an RV in the back and like families living there and.
The one
So you can't have
Yeah.
you can't have people living in RVs. So people can have RVs on their property. They have to be behind the setback, which is 15 feet. You can have 15 feet is the setback from the street onto your property. That's the city setback is 15 feet. So as long as they're behind 15 feet, you can have an RV park. Now you can't have it parked in your grass. You can if you improve the surface. You know, you put some gravel down, some concrete, some pavers.
Okay.
All those asphalt, concrete, all that qualifies to be improved. And as far as in the backyard, we don't really have a code for having a vehicle or an RV in your backyard. There's no code on that. But yeah, yes, you cannot be living in it, so we can, I mean, at least,
Yeah, they're living-
again, it's one of those things, you have to see them living in it, coming out of there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, most of these
You'll
people,
see it.
most of these people are smart, they'll tell you, oh, I'm just going in there to put something away, or I'm getting ready to take it on the road trip, so I'm just preparing it.
They actually have, and then that's the other thing is they have their,
Sewer line.
I don't know if it's their sewer, I mean, we kinda questioned it and they were like, oh no, it's not, it's the dishwasher, water and it's blue, but they've created like this puddle underneath their camper, their RV. And they've tried to like hide it a little bit, but just doesn't seem right. I think they should have one of those boxes, right?
They could come in there and test that to see what's in that chemical,
Collect.
because that would be illegal to have some kind of chemical in the ground, because it gets down in the.
I mean, is there anything wrong with it or not? Yeah.
That's not you.
We don't have tests like that, we don't do
No,
stuff
but
like
is that allowed? I mean,
No, it's not allowed. They can't be running any kind of drainage or anything. A lot of people prep their RVs. I don't know, I'm not an RV owner, so I don't know what the whole prep thing is, but they prep it so they'll connect it to their electricity, to, like, sometimes they do to tender their batteries so they won't die on them. Or they'll connect the hose to flush it out, or fill up their tanks, or reservoir tanks and stuff like that. So when those get called in, when we see them, we give them a notice. So they can't have those connections for more than 72 hours. So in a 72-hour time frame from the time we get there and we give them notice, if they still have them after 72 hours, then we can go to the next process, which is giving them a citation and, you know, doing something else. But most of the time they know that and they'll connect them and disconnect them, and then it's one of those things we have to physically see somebody coming out of there and digging in there. It's hard to prove, trust me.
It's just like
the
what
days
happens, they
of
can
the
do
days
it,
of
they
just
can-
going on someone's property, kicking it outdoors, taking people to jail, and
Making people look at it.
Everything's changing.
That's why my board member was saying, like, report it, I'm like, what for? It's not even worth the
If
trouble.
somebody breaks into
The castle walls, I think she's saying that.
If someone breaks into your house, all bets are off, you gotta defend yourself.
Yeah.
So if they are breaking in and make entry into your house, they're in your front yard now. And now if they break down your door or window and they're physically inside,
So in other words, shoot them and drag them inside. That was a joke, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta end this on a good note. Funny note.
I'm being videotaped so I can. That's it.
Yeah, people looking.
Okay.
Someone, they're inside your house, they're not outside. So unless they have a window door.
And that's not a violation, is them sorting out the garage or storage bin or, you know, working at night. Now, there's a noise ordinance where they can't, you know, it's just sort of,
But there's people working there all night long.
it's just like, I can go out to my garage at 12 o'clock at night and work on my garage, and there's no violation against that. I'm just working on my stuff, you know, it's just, there's no violation against working on stuff on your own property.
How about the noise generator?
There is a noise ordinance, and you call SAP, non-emergency, 207 SAPE.
Saying there's no noise.
There's no noise, but they're operating the business. That's the whole
You know,
thing.
this becomes a
They're
game.
not zoned.
Little I can.
You gotta be zoned, that's a residential area, they're
You're
not
such a
zoned
cute.
for, that's all it's to it. The
Tired.
property owner, he
Sleepy.
doesn't care because he's got his cash coming in. And they're making a crazy amount of money.
Okay. Thank you.
Joy, would you like me to finish on out?
Yes,
just
please.
I wanna respect
Yes,
everybody's
please.
time. I'll say, okay, I got 5 things. We'll go through all 5.
Okay.
One, I have this flyer that Alamo area, metropolitan, something. They're the transportation people. And they have a meeting coming up on April 5th. They recently received a bunch of money and they want to know how to use that money, about transportation especially. So, I'm going to pass this around.
Is that through VIA or?
It's through, I think VIA's going to be there, but it's a different organization. Again, they got the money, so they asked
Make
us to
it
promote
places
it to
walkable
everybody.
and
So
transportation
if
type
you're able
things,
to go to, go to that
multimodality
one.
and
Second one, I'll
all
pass it
that,
around this way.
pedestrian
We
things.
have SAWS and CPS office hours. If you're having issues with your electric or water bill or anything around SAWS and CPS, and you'd like to talk to a representative, don't want to talk over the phone, you can schedule a meeting with us and you can specifically sit down with someone from the company and ask them questions and get your account sorted out. So if that's something that you're interested in, you need to RSVP with us. There's plenty of spots open right now for the next one. I forget when it is.
Is that a Thursday?
It's a Wednesday, every last Wednesday of the month.
Okay, I hope I can
So-
come for the SAWS. Put me, look, I need to try to, I'm afraid I'm gonna forget by the time I.
Please do. The next one is March 29th, which is next Wednesday. And I know we still have spots open, so please come. Third item, we're having our Vietnam Veteran Ceremony event. If you are a Vietnam veteran or know someone who is, or a family member of someone who is, we would very much like you to come. And it's just a short honorary ceremony. Councilwoman's father was actually a Vietnam veteran, and she believes that those veterans specifically are not honored as much as some of the other ones. So we're having a ceremony specifically for that. So please RSVP with us if you would like to come. That's March 29th. Okay, number 4. Now, I'm not gonna have all the details. I know you guys are gonna have questions, but just listen to this. Wednesday, April 18th, is the potential ribbon cutting for Yoel's new park. So, once the flyer is made and once they get all the details, they'll send it to me and I'll send it to y'all so you guys have it. But right now, April 19th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's what they're saying right now. But that's all I have right now.
And where is it at?
Where's
The
the park?
new park, I gotta look
Kaiser.
at the,
Oh, okay.
It's on Kaiser,
yeah, I was like, they know.
Sinclair.
Sinclair, okay.
Oh, wow, that's just right there.
So they should be wrapping up on that soon, and they'll have a ribbon cutting, and y'all will all be invited for that ribbon cutting for sure. And then to end on a happy note, one, if y'all haven't met me, I realize I didn't introduce myself. My name is Kay Romerhauser. I'm with our District Council Office, our Community Outreach Coordinator. I am available to y'all if y'all have questions, you need to contact any of the wonderful people here or other departments. We're here to assist you. I work at our Constituent Services Office, which is down on Brooks, right across from the Compass Roads, if you know where that is. And I have some cards for any of y'all that have not met me or you lost my card. I am here to help y'all. So, again, Kay, like the letter, and y'all can call that number. I'm there 9 to 5. Just
And Kay is very responsive and she's very helpful, so
Yes.
feel free to call her because she's very good.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And I hope she didn't move on.
She may not have.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, to end on a good note, we have y'all's Fiesta Meadows. So sorry
Yeah, I
to
have.
staff, we will have to get y'all probably a little bit later because I only have, I think, 10. But we wanted to make sure that y'all, this was the first Fiesta Meadow that y'all got and this exciting year. So thank y'all so much. Joy, anything else? I'll pass these out when we end.
No, I think that's it, right? Thank you so much. Very informative meeting today, and we appreciate everybody, our neighbors for coming out, and city staff for serving us well. We appreciate it coming out after hours. Thank you so much.
And
So
our next meeting is in April, the third Thursday of the month.
the third Thursday of April. So what happened? So March, oh, I thought it was in May. May, it's in May 9th, the third Thursday of May. All right, so blessings to everyone, safe travels, and enjoy the entrance of our spring season, even though it's kind of hot already. All right, blessings everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I don't know how to stop your recording.
Thank you so, let me get it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I'm having fun. Thank
so
you.
cute.
Oh, thank you so much.
And